All right, peeps, this video is going to be on Cornell note taking, the basics. Before we get into what are Cornell notes, I want us to look at some common note taking issues first. The very first thing I want to focus on is memory. If you are in a lesson or in a class and not taking notes, or reading homework or something and not taking notes, after finishing, within 20 minutes, you will lose 47%, almost 50% of what you just had heard or just had read. You will lose, you will forget. That's without taking notes. After 2 days, you'll lose almost 70%, and after 75 days, that stays about the same, 75%. So without taking notes, you lose quite a bit very fast. Quite a bit of information you will lose. Another common issue is whether or not to take handwritten or typed notes. Now, it's true. People speak very fast, and when you type, you're able to type more things down faster. But the science and the research has shown that when you handwrite your notes, you remember more. This is because when you handwrite stuff, you access more parts of your brain, and your brain makes more connections. This is very important to retain knowledge, to remember important information. So handwriting is better. That's why we handwrite it. Finally, the last note-taking issue that I see a lot of is organization. Oftentimes our notes and our notebooks and folders are messy, causing us to lose information or not remember information because of it being disorganized. So taking Cornell notes will help your organization. Let's look at Cornell notes now. Cornell notes are very simple and they are very organized. There's only 3 parts, that's what makes it so simple, and you do them in a certain order. The very first thing you do will take notes, will be to take notes. The second thing you'll do is to write down questions and vocab from the notes, and the third thing you'll do is to summarize the notes that you just took. Let's look at each part specifically. So the first thing you'll do is take notes. Now your notes can be in any form that works for you. There are many types of notes that you can take. The type that I take and the type I always recommend is the outline format shown here. Outlines help organize information. You break stuff down into categories and subcategories, and it allows you to review information very easily and very quickly. So I would recommend the outline format. But you could take notes in flowcharts like this, or in any other way that works for you. And I can't stress that enough. Whatever way of taking notes that works for you, go ahead and take those in the notes section of your Cornell notes. That's in the box to the right here. After you've done that, you'll start writing questions and vocabulary down. Now your questions are kind of review questions. You're essentially making a quiz from your notes that you can go back and quiz yourself when you're studying for quizzes or tests or anything else in class. Your questions should be challenging, and they should be a mix of review questions, memorization questions, and also questions that incorporate a lot of your notes. So they should be more challenging and also memorization. Important to know that the answers to your questions should be in the notes section here. Your vocab is the same thing. Any new vocabulary that you may hear from your teacher or read in a book, put the vocabulary word in the left-hand box and put the definition in your notes box here. So you can cover up this notes box later with a piece of paper. Look at your questions and vocab and study or quiz yourself when studying for a quiz or test or anything else in class. Let's look at summaries. Your summaries are just that. They're summaries. You write them, or you do this section last, and it covers everything that you learned either through your reading or through the class or whatever. You'll summarize your notes first you'll break down the summary into 7 main points. These are the 7 main points from your notes, and you'll just list those. You can see that here to the left. You'll just list those. After you've broken your notes up into the 7 main points or main themes, you'll combine these 7 points into 3 sentences, and that'll be your summary. And you can come back to your summary to review very quickly everything that you learned in this section of your notes. Now let's take a look at a very good student example of Cornell notes.